Hey guys, it's Aaron with Imperfect Impulses. I wanted to share with you a mini book that I made for me and my son. Wanted to make it very masculine without being too dull. I find a lot of the stuff that people make to be masculine tends to be very dull. There's not a lot of color, and it gets very grungy. I love grungy, so this did end up a little bit grungy. Actually, a lot grungy, but I did use some, really cool colors. So, start with the top. This was just a piece of chipboard, and I put some text paper down. I ripped it up into pieces and collaged it down. Then I used Distress ink, and I think tumbled glass and broken china, just a couple different colors down there. And then I used some, on the chipboard, I used some other colors. I know I used purple because you can see purple poking through. And then I used a really thick coat of the rock candy crackle paint. And what I found it did was it cracked so much that it started kind of peeling off, which worked nicely because I had stamped underneath "Boys Will Be Boys" and it was hard to read. So I just sort of kept flaking until some of that came off, and I just flaked off in other areas just to mimic that. So this was a grunge board piece that I colored with, I think, walnut stain, and then I used embossing powder over the top. So that's the outside. Flip it open, and just so you know, this book was all handmade. This is just a chipboard piece. I believe it's 6x6 that I cut out. This is a chipboard piece that I cut out, chipboard piece that I cut out, and then I just assembled it all using paper hinges. So this is from, I want to say, the Bo Bunny line. I don't remember which line it was. It was a really cool line, though. Pretty sure it was Bo Bunny. This is from the Cricut. I just used my Distress inks and then some crackle accents to make the little crown for, this is me and my son. And I just wanted to show you can use flowers when you're doing stuff for boys. You can use flowers and color. It's okay. Boys like color too. So it says, between the innocence of boyhood and the dignity of manhood, we find a delightful creature of a boy. And then there's a little tag in here. It says, "For your eyes only," and it's a picture of my son. So that slides in there, and that flips up. And then that says "Love." That was cut from the Cricut. And then, let's see. This says "Enjoy happiness." And there's a little tag in here. And I used some of the Tim Holtz film strip, and I embossed this tag using my Vagabond in one of the Tim Holtz embossing folders, and then used Distress inks on it. And this is a picture of me and my son blowing bubbles, and I just made it vintage using some Distress inks. So, let's tuck that back in there. The main colors I used, as you can tell, were blue and green and a little bit of purple. This was some, I think this might have been Maya Road or May Arts ribbon at the bottom. For the side over here, this chicken wire looking stuff you can see behind the tag. This, I just used I had some wire, some craft wire, and just started twisting it just to create an embellishment on the side, just something interesting and decorative. So you flip it open, and got some accent paper over here. I want to say this was my Mind's Eye paper. I'm not positive. And I don't remember where I got this from, but I used my texture hammer to kind of beat it up a little bit, and I used some paint on it just to give it a dingier look. And this says something, and you can barely read it. God created boys full of spirit and fun, to explore and conquer, to romp and run. And my dog got to my book and kind of chewed it, but that's okay. It made it more grungy. And then that's where my dog bit my head, obviously. And this is a picture of me and my son. So there's lots of interaction with this. I took an idea from, there was a woman on YouTube who really inspired me to use my die packaging as a clear page. I cannot tell you what the name of her channel is, but she has an amazing book out there, and she had a clear page in it. So this is a Tim Holtz die. I colored the edges, and then I just used craft paper to line the edges just to give it a more finished look. This side I use, this is from, I want to say Graphic 45, their, what do you call it, the steampunk line. So these are Tim Holtz cutouts, and I just used some script stamp, colored it up. I embossed the tag using a Tim Holtz texture fade, and that's a picture of me and my son again. If you can't tell, he was a lot younger then, and I was a lot heavier, so yeah, this is more recent. This was just last December, so 2011. There's nothing on the back of this one. I just wanted this one to be the focal point on this page. So then I just added, these are some jewelry findings from Michaels, and some chain. I love chain and wanted it to dangle. Some buttons. So you flip this open, and it says boys, and I believe these were chipboard pieces that I colored using Distress Inks, and then put crackle accents over the top of them, and they came out really cool. And this says, play is really the work of childhood, and I used, this is Crafters Workshop template for the background, and I used the wrinkle distress technique on this, so it was wrinkled and I ironed it flat. Then again, another distressed picture of me and my son. I had blue hair here. It was Halloween. He was dressed as Venom, or as he calls him, Black Spider-Man. So, yeah, that was us. So that just slips under here. And this paper is really cool. This paper I got from a used pack of paper. We do a garage sale every year at the store near my house. We live in Las Vegas. And this woman got rid of a ton of paper, so I got a huge stack of paper for about $5, and included in it was this really cool, almost like wicker. It's so cool, and I used all different color Distress Inks on it, so it was awesome. I have a bunch of that left, and these are those gem things from Michaels. I could not tell you the brand. My life depended on it. So when you open it up, these are hinges I got from the hardware section at Walmart, and I used this quote again of all the blessing God sends from above, the one most precious is a boy to love, and this is on the Tim Holtz craft glassine. I embossed it and then used a little bit of, I think, broken china just to color where it had cracked. So, and then this is the Timber Brown Stays On. And this is, I want to say, May Arts webbing. And this is a charm. I don't remember what line that's from or what line that's from. Sorry, I'm terrible at remembering that. I'm just not a brand junkie. I just like what I like. These are some wooden wings we've had for a while. This is when my son was really small. So I just put a little wing on him. So that closes shut. And then this page doesn't have anything to do with me and my son. I liked the picture, the old school picture, and used a little bit of crackle accents on the bicycle tires, and put Live Like You Mean It. Really cool key from Michaels I got in the dollar section, and I think more May Arts frilly stuff. And then on this side, this is actually notebook paper, lined notebook paper that I used a stamp on, and then ran it through my Vagabond with a Tim Holtz texture fade. No, this is a Cuttlebug embossing folder. And then just threw a little bit of ink on top of that. And then this is me and my son in his little wading pool. I'm 6'4", so I don't fit very well in those, but he always wants me to get in them. So this was a Kaiser watch piece. The top's already broken off, and this is breaking too because I have a little trinket pin and a little charm hanging from it. So hopefully it doesn't break any further. These are some Sizzlet die cut pieces, and I just stamped them up before I cut them out and mounted them onto a piece of chipboard. This is, I want to say, some craft resist paper back here, and then obviously more of the Tim Holtz film strip ribbon. This is the Tim Holtz bird die, and the wing got torn off by my dog, so I might have to redo that. And then at the bottom I just used a bunch of charms that I got from Michaels, really cheap. This is just some really cool box chain and the number 3. He was 3 in a lot of the pictures. So just some more chain pieces, just a charm, and then my birthday's in May, so I love the number 5 and just a funky little charm. And then on the back it just says boys, and these are super thick, if you can see how thick these are. These are wood letters from Michaels, and I used Distress inks on them, and then a little bit of the Rock Candy crackle paint. The less you use, the smaller the crack you get, so if you can see how small the cracks are on that versus the huge thick chunks on the front. So that'll give you an indication on what kind of crackle you're going to get. This was a super thin layer. I just wanted to give it a really textured look. And in the background I used tissue tape, and what I'm calling tissue tape is actually masking tape. I laid a bunch of strips out on my craft sheet and stamped on them, and then just ripped them up and collaged them down using Mod Podge. And before I did that, I added some Distress inks over the top. I was in a Distress ink mode. And the side just has some stamps straight onto chipboard. And this is the hinge from the Tim Holtz grunge board. And I used my texture hammer to kind of bump out some of those brads, and then just added some fibers to the edge. So that's my boy book, and as you can see, it's got color, it's not terribly drab. So hopefully this inspires you guys to go out and use flowers for boys and use color for boys, and don't make everything made for men so drab. Please, we like color too. So anyways, I hope to see you. Check out my blog. It's imperfectimpulses.wordpress.com, and I've got more videos coming soon, so see you soon. Bye.